Greetings, fellow sausages, it's the Countess, and today I'm doing another one of my adventure guides. So as always with these adventure guides, I am doing this for the first time ever, and I think that that's probably the best way for you to get an accurate perspective on what it's like first going into this adventure, so I wanted to be in your shoes for this situation. So without further ado, here is how I got through the adventure through my first impressions. So the first thing you'll see me talking to is the trader. Now these aren't entirely helpful, they just give you 25 gems per item. The thing about them is that when you're trying to get things for the tikis, you're going to get mistakes and such, and the less rare items, the more common ones. And so you may as well just trade them to the traders because it kind of helps you. I mean, at least it's a couple gems. So it's kind of just a way to get things off of your hands. So I definitely think that the traders might have been a mistake on time for my part, just because every precious second that's ticking away is kind of a mistake. But I quickly got onto the first tiki, and this actually wasn't the first one that I was able to solve, but I did keep it in mind and I solved it second. So this tiki wanted me to find a coin from the tides, which I didn't entirely know what meant, and I searched here for a little bit. Once again, this was my first time playing the adventure, so I honestly had no idea what I was doing. But as far as I know and as far as I saw, there are no exclamation point things that you can get in that tide where Tavie is standing. So don't waste your time with this one. It's all over here in this area where there's other tides, and those little paw marks are where you get the things. So here you'll see me use the trader a lot. Like I said, it might be a waste of time depending on how fast you are with the adventure, so just test it out a couple times if you're speed running the adventure and see what's best for you and what time you need to see if it is worth it or whether it's just wasteful for you. But I personally am always low on gems because I spend a lot on various things that I like to make varied looks, so it was very helpful for me. So here is where I actually got to my first solved tiki, and he was looking for a jewel, which is the rare item, but luckily I happened to find one like literally right there. So, very helpful. So all of the tikis want you to bring them 3 fruits, and they're very specific about it, and they always pick the fruits that are like the hardest for you to get. So I had to travel a little bit farther to bring a banana, but I didn't think he would be asking for another one, so I was like, you know what, that's okay. And then he asked for a coconut, and there happened to be a coconut like right there that I passed. I know, pretty stupid, but hey, it's my first time playing the adventure. I wasn't really sure what it looked like. And then he asked for another banana, and here's where I started to realize that this adventure was a little more complicated than I realized in terms of the time crunch, because you do actually have to go looking for things. And here was this secret Arctic wolf space that I didn't end up using because it really wasn't necessary since I got that crystal on the first try. But it is a little handy secret for you when you play. Do use an Arctic wolf in case you need to use that. Personally, I didn't find it necessary, so if you don't have an Arctic wolf, absolutely no worries. But there was a banana just on the other side, so it is not necessary to go up that hill, just go to the side a little bit. And you can do that with pretty much all of the tikis. So now I have my pearl, and it's time to go ahead and bring it back to Tavie, where I will receive prizes. I actually kind of like going back to look at Tavie. I think she's my second favorite alpha. My first favorite in terms of design, but my second favorite in terms of personality. And I actually got some pretty cool items that I'll probably be using. So now it was time to go on to the next pearl, and for this I searched back through the tides to try and find my coin. This one I think may have taken me the longest, either that or the next one, which is the fishing one. So just save yourself a little bit of time for this. Like I said, it absolutely depends. With that crystal, I found it the first instant and it was right next to the tiki. But with some of these, it can be a little bit harder to find. So I searched a little bit, went here and there, back and forth. It's really all about trial and error in this adventure, as it is with most of these types of adventures where you're kind of on a time crunch and you have to get items. Personally, I think that they gave you a perfectly reasonable time, but it was still tricky for me. So I got the coin and I was on to the bird-looking tiki, which I think might be my favorite tiki. He's pretty cool. So now it's time to get these 3 pieces of fruit. And first, he asked for a pineapple, which happened to be right there, luckily, unlike some of the other things that these needy tikis ask for. So next I was off on a grand adventure. And it was right there all along. But you know what? It's really, you gotta peel your eyes open, especially for those coconuts, because they blend into the trees. So, lastly, just a couple of bananas. I think that this is the easiest tiki, so this might be the one that you want to do first, depending on how used you're getting to the adventure. If it's your first time like me, might be a good choice to do that one first, because I was rather confused doing the other one first. But it was also one of the hardest for me to get the coin. So it really is all up to how you want to play, and truthfully there is no right way to play. It's all rather confusing. So here is where my grand demise started to fall. I was kind of in a bad position, and one thing that I didn't mention to you is that I actually was not able to finish this adventure. I got to the last Tiki, I gave him his fish, and I gave him one fruit, and I was on my way back with the second one, and the adventure ended. So I can still tell you exactly how to do this adventure, even if I didn't technically complete. So for this one, you're going to need a fish, and I think part of the reason why I wasn't able to complete the adventure is because I didn't know where things were. So keep in mind where all these things are that you're seeing in this video, and maybe pause the video and make sure that you can see where it is on the map. I do keep my map open the whole time, but where you actually fish is over here in this phantom dock area. So don't be confused like I was. I went looking because I thought that that one wasn't working since it was taking so long, but this one is a waiting game. It actually takes the nets quite a bit of time, possibly like 30-ish seconds to come back up. So that's another way that my time crunch was starting to fall. And I actually did get him his fish, but it did not leave me with enough time to come back successfully with the fruits. I think part of it as well was that I didn't know where the fruits were, so I would say that if you have time before you go to the Tiki, make sure that you know where the fruits are in relation to the Tiki, so that when you come back you're not struggling to find something. That was my issue, and I'm sure that there was fruit that was way closer. However, I had to go all the way around and look for things because I wasn't very prepared, which is expected on your first time, but hopefully this guide will help you out with that. So now it's time for the waiting game, and you just have to wait and wait and wait. And now, to be fair, I was a little bit confused by this, like I said, first about the time, and second of all, I will warn you, when the fish pop up, you'll see what they look like, but they are weird mutated phantom fish, almost like the three-eyed fish from The Simpsons, if you've ever seen that. But they're strange looking, and at first I wasn't entirely sure if that was actually what I was looking for, but I brought it to the Tiki and he was happy. So you are supposed to find a mutant fish, surprisingly, and it worked out, so I'd say it's all good. And waiting and waiting and waiting. This was probably the most boring part of the adventure, although I did appreciate the rhythm of the adventure, as I do with all of these types of adventures, which is why I rather enjoy doing guides for them. So here is what the fish looks like. A little bit strange, but I actually began falling in love with him. I kind of want one of these fish in real life. So now it's time for the dreadful 3 pieces of fruit, where I could not for the life of me find a coconut. I think that this guy was meant to be the hardest one, so I guess that makes me feel a little bit better, but he's still programmed for kids to be able to solve, so don't feel too great about that one. But yeah, I could not for the life of me find a coconut, and I ended up going back and forth, but just wasted even more time. And at this point, I kind of thought that I was going to get away with it, but I realized quickly that it just took too long for me to get back, and he just kind of gave up on me. But I was really, really close. I felt bad disappointing Tavie because I love her so much. But you can do it. I promise you. You're going to do great. Just know where the coconuts are ahead of time. So like right there when I just got the coconut, you can pause the video and see exactly where that coconut is, so that when time comes that you need to get the coconut, you can get the coconut. I believe in you. You can do it. Right here is the most dreadful part for you to watch. I understand if you want to avert your eyes. It was just, I was right there. I was about to give it to him. It's, oh dear. So if you guys enjoyed this guide despite my failure, then you can go ahead and leave a like on the video to show your support. You'll be sent an invisible high five from a hamster within 0.001 seconds. Subscribe today to become an official fabulous sausage. I will see you all in the next guide, but for now, Countess out.